Buying a franchise is not a mistake, but buying the wrong franchise could be. It can cost you a few $100,000 in the next decade of your life. We talk with people who signed first and asked their questions after. Unfortunately, they trusted the brand story, assumed the numbers would work, and so now they're just stuck. So today I want to walk through how to think about franchising before you invest, and I want to show you a couple real red flags that we see inside FTDs. I'm Carissa Bay from Franchise Inspectors. We help people find franchises that actually fit them, their interests, their skills, budget, goals, and their lifestyle. And then we help them understand what questions to ask before they invest. Sometimes we tell people to run away, and honestly, those are some of the most important calls that we have. Most people who call us are burned out at work, or they've always wanted to own something of their own. They're usually already looking at a few franchises, but something just doesn't feel right. And that instinct matters. If something feels off, slow down. At the same time, when the numbers make sense and the fit is right, you also have to be willing to move forward. Franchising can be a great path. There are brands that have been around for decades, thousands of units, have strong support teams, and low termination rates. We've placed owners into home services and senior care brands just like that, and they're doing very well. But there are also brands that grew too fast, didn't have the infrastructure, or never really had strong unit economics in the first place. And honestly, you can't tell the difference from the website sometimes. You can't tell the difference by talking to their franchise sales department. Some people are really good at selling a dream. So you have to read the FDD, talk to the franchisees, do your homework and your due diligence. There's another reason people look at franchising that doesn't get talked about enough. For a lot of people, franchising is a stepping stone. They've always wanted to own a business. They want to be an entrepreneur. But starting something from scratch feels so overwhelming. You have to figure out marketing, hiring, vendors, pricing, systems, websites, everything. But a good franchise can show you the path. You get a playbook. You learn how to run payroll, how to manage employees, deal with customers, read financials, all inside a structure that's already been tested. It doesn't have to be the last business you ever own. Some owners build one location, learn the ropes, sell it after a few years, and then buy another franchise or start something on their own. We've seen people use franchising almost like a real-world MBA. So when someone tells me they want to own a business someday but don't know where to start, franchising can be a smart first step, as long as the numbers make sense and the brand is solid. So let's talk about one red flag that comes up a lot: rapid expansion. When you see a brand go from 0 to 200 units in just a couple years, that should make you pause. Not panic, not just turn the other direction, but just pause. Because growth by itself isn't bad. Some great brands do grow fast, but you need to ask questions, several of them. How many support staff did corporate hire while they were selling those territories? How many franchise business coaches are there? How many field visits are actually going to happen? What data are they using to sell that many units that quickly? How are candidates making a decision if there's barely any history? And something we always check: how many of those sales are multi-unit deals? Sometimes one investor may buy 5 territories at once, so that looks like a lot of growth on paper, but those locations aren't even open yet. Look at this example. You can see the franchised outlets jumped from 0 to over 200 in just a couple years. Now, that doesn't automatically mean this is a bad brand. What it does mean is that you need to talk to a lot of the owners who've opened recently and ask what the support looks like. We've seen brands where corporate just could not keep up. The training got rushed, the marketing systems weren't ready, and owners were just kind of left to figure things out on their own. And that is not what people think of when they're buying a franchise. They think they're getting more support, more structure. Here's another one that honestly drives me crazy: weak item 19 numbers. People are investing $600,000 or $700,000, $800,000 into a franchise where the actual reported earnings look terrible. Look at this example. So the total investment is, almost up to $800,000 here. And when you look at the item 19, and the net income after expenses is tiny, with the median net income for their investor model coming in at just around $46,000. So even if we took an average investment of, $600,000 with a profit of $50,000 every year, that would take over 10 years to even make your initial investment back. And somehow this brand is selling territories like crazy. That should make you ask why. Are they selling a dream instead of showing real data? Are candidates just skipping the franchisee calls? Are people assuming that they will be the exception? It's crazy to me that people are investing their life savings without understanding the actual numbers. And who knows? Maybe this brand does take off and these people all become millionaires. Maybe their investments are coming in closer to $400,000 instead of $800,000. And maybe they end up putting closer to $100,000 in their pocket every year. That does sound a little better. But we cannot predict that. We can only go off of what the information is in the item 19. Franchising is not a lottery ticket. It's a business, and the math has to work. Another thing people don't think about enough is the risk tolerance. If someone is putting every dollar of their life savings into one franchise, that decision needs to look very different than someone who already has millions of dollars and they can't afford a loss. I've seen people invest everything they have into a brand that did not work out, and it really changed their life in not a great way. Debt, stress, and family pressure. So before you choose a franchise, you have to be honest about your financial cushion. If this is all your money, you probably want a brand with a long track record, stable unit economics, and lots of owners that you can talk to. You want something boring and predictable. If you have more flexibility and you are comfortable with risk, maybe you do look at a newer concept or a category that's still emerging, like the example that I had just mentioned. Neither approach is wrong. It just depends on your situation. Understanding your risk tolerance helps you choose the right type of franchise, and it keeps you from making emotional decisions that don't match your reality. I don't want this to sound like franchising is bad. It's not. We've helped people build amazing businesses through franchising. Multi-unit owners, people who left corporate and now control their schedule. Families who built something that they can sell later. And even people who are already selling their franchise for more than 5 times their initial investment in just a few years. The key difference is that they chose strong brands with real numbers, realistic territory plans, and support that match the promises. So if you're thinking about buying a franchise, slow down and do your due diligence. Read the FDD, the whole thing. I know it's very long, but also hire a franchise attorney. That's what they're there for. Talk to owners. Model the numbers in your territory with a pro forma, and then work with someone who does this every day for extra support. At Franchise Inspectors, we're happy to take a look before you invest. No pressure, no brand pushing, just an honest look at the opportunity. Because buying a franchise can change your life, and you just want to make sure that it changes it in the right direction. So if you're interested in working with us, go to our services page by clicking the link above or in the description of the video. It'll take you to this form, fill this out, and we will get back to you within 24 hours to get a call scheduled with us. We look forward to working with you.